I'm live. Looks like here I am, and I'm live again. Can't wait to be live. Just waiting for people to show up here. It says live 9 seconds. I know I'm delayed further than that. Give it a second. Little bitty moment. Ah, 25 seconds. Hang on. There we go. I got 0 people here. I know better than that. No, a little better than that. All right, man. Well, anyway, let's begin. Firstly, Incognito Society is going to be my special guest tonight. She will be joining us at about 15 after the hour. So, and I didn't want to really wait for her. And instead, well, you know what? Here she is right now. Please let me introduce everybody. Incognito Society. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hello.
Hey, no problem. That's what I do.
Well, I appreciate it. Kind of a last minute on my part, so I apologize for being late.
Hey, I don't think you're late. I think you hit it like right to the money. I said she'll be here about 15 after the hour. Oops, there she is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. How
So
are you?
what is new in Incognito's world? What's happening over there?
Man, I am rattled this week in the Delphi case, but other than that, just work and family. How are you?
You know what? It all remains the same where I live.
All right.
I like it like that.
Yeah.
So on the Delphi case, go on.
Well, watching the podcasts that
Uh-huh.
Anthony and the captain and Steve did. And then, of course, I went ahead and bought all 7 episodes from the one that Gray Hughes produced. A lot of information that has not been released from the police was said on both podcasts. And the cigarette butt and the shoe, things that we just were speculating on all this time.
Right.
The evidence that they supposedly found was cigarette butt, and then also the clothing in the water. I would think that with Gray Hughes being so close to the family and the interviews that were going on there, that would be information he wouldn't just release without permission. Right. So it's interesting. I don't know. It starts making me think more when the captain talked about 2 other people. Well, actually a couple and another person at the entry of the Freedom Bridge saw the different sketch of a guy. Mm-hmm. So, I start questioning everything, but then I always come back to, I still do not believe the suspect is from Delphi or Carroll County. No way. No way.
I'm with you.
So that's me rattling on. Sorry.
No, that's why you're here. That's why you're a special guest. You're supposed to rattle on.
All right.
Continuously.
Well, thank you for having me. Really.
No problem at all. Well, I did want to touch upon that tonight because there was that interview that, Greeno did with Sheriff Lazenby. And I assumed that everybody wanted that answer one more time. So I was prepped to give it to him yet one more time. Once again, here it comes. So let me get right to that really quick, if I may.
Yes.
Now, this is going back to a time here. And I'm bringing this here up first. I had wrote Sheriff Lazenby concerning the timestamp on the photos of the guy walking across the bridge. This is pre-video, but I wanted to know what the timestamp was on that. He said to me, pretty much before I got this right here email from him, he's like, well, I can ask the investigators, but I don't think that that's information that they want released. Okay, well, go ahead. If you're going to ask him, Right. So I don't know whether he did or not, but I got back a hold of him a week later. And I'm like, well, what is it? I mean, are you telling me or not? This is the email he sent me. Dear Mr. Cat, after further review of your request on or about April 18, 2018, and this date, your request is being denied for the reasons stated in the reply email on about April 18, 2018. As I indicated, the requested information is considered investigatory record and is accepted from disclosure as provided under Indiana Code 51434B1 of the Indiana Public Access Laws. Thank you, Tobe.
You were denied.
I was denied. All right. Now, I was denied from the timestamp because apparently that's part of the investigation. All right.
Okay.
Now, I want to go back into this here because I don't think that this is copyrighted, but hey, whatever, screw it. This is the answer that he had gave to a friend of mine once.
Mm-hmm.
We still have not identified the suspect in the image. Need I produce the image for you? They look like this right here. These would be the images. This is the ones that he's talking about, even including the video. Okay?
Right.
So we have not identified the image, the suspect seen in the image. The investigation concludes that the person responsible for the deaths of Abby and Libby is not currently in custody. Well, he is not currently in custody because he is not in custody for the deaths of Abby and Libby. He is not a suspect because he would not be named a suspect until charges were filed, until they could go down and talk to him. Now, in the part where it is a person of interest, yes, he is a person of interest, and he is locked up in St. Louis County. How do I know that? I'll tell you how. Because I got this right here from Kim Riley.
Yes, he was arrested in St. Louis. He looks like the Delphi suspect. Was dressed accordingly. Okay, his DNA was taken down there. Did they compare that to the Delphi DNA?
I really cannot comment on that.
Is CC Moore working the case?
We have approximately 1,500 people we're looking into, and he's one of the 1,500. Best I can answer on that part.
Okay. So then you don't know anything about Thomas Bruce, then, sir? Nothing?
I know some, but I don't know so much information I can give out. We do not talk about investigations other than what we put out in the newspaper.
Okay, when do you think, if anything was to come out on Thomas Bruce, that he may be guilty? When would that be announced? Are you guys looking to speak with him?
That I really cannot answer that question. We're still in the first part of the investigation. They're dealing with that man down there on another case, and they're not worried about our case at this point in time, and I don't blame them.
No, I'll give you that because he may be facing death down there, and I figured that it could be a while before you could talk to him. Would that be factual?
That could be one of the reasons, yes.
Oh, I've lost sound. Michael, can you hear me?
No, I turned mine off.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
You guys could hear that, though, couldn't you?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Loud and clear. Actually had backup noise.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
So, yeah, that's what I wanted to point out, man, that this is a part of the investigation. He is not in custody because of that crime. He is not considered a suspect till they can talk to him. And it's not that he was lying, but guess what? It was held because of, if I had to pull the code back up again, it's held from disclosure. Listen, man, the name Thomas Bruce is under gag order in Carroll County, period. And that is how I answer to that.
I agree. I still don't think it's a very vague statement to say he's in custody. Okay, he's not in custody in Indiana.
He's not in custody here, but he's not in custody for that crime.
Right.
You see where I'm at? And again, it is like, as was stated earlier, it is kind of a play on words. It's like we use in legalese.
Right. They're not going to tell you, yeah, he's down in Missouri.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That was the whole reason of the briefing. And again, that's the big question. Well, why would they do that? Why? Tell us why, Kat. Well, because they can't have you know until they're going to file charges. When they make him a suspect, everybody will know. In that meantime, you know what answer you're going to get? Same one as Tabloid got.
Exactly. It's already a 3-ring circus. There's a couple of people in here saying it's not Thomas Bruce.
No, it's fine. They can say what they want.
That's fine. I don't know why they're here.
Aladdin. You don't need to be here. So go on with Lowell Badger. I want to hear a little bit more here.
With Lowell Badger, starting over just a little bit of briefing, 85-year-old retired farmer out of Sullivan County, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
His wife died in 2008. He lived alone. Don't know much about necessarily day-to-day life, but he was very prominent in the community. He was involved in his church. He was on several boards. And then on December the 7th, which was a Friday night into Saturday, December 8th of 2012, somebody broke into his house, shot and killed him, stole a TV and a safe about 2 feet tall, average height. And that's it. And no one has been arrested. There's been no suspects. There was about 100 tips that came in after the initial, 30 days, but nothing since then. The family keeps a little bit of, the case going as much as they can. They just this year put up some signs. Well, in 2019, put up some signs, justice or speak up for Lowell Badger type of thing. Yeah. So I wanted to highlight the case because to me, it seems like it's not a random burglary and murder. This was targeted at him.
I agree. It had to be. It had to be because the safe. Who's going to go into a house and go, well, the two things I want is a safe and a TV?
Exactly.
Again, I think the TV was part of the setup of making it look burglary, and not after the safe. But I think that the perpetrator knew the safe was there, and that was the reason they entered.
Exactly. And I'm wondering, like you had said last time we talked, if there wasn't two people involved. I had never thought about that part of it because that safe had to be very heavy. Like you said, it was very well made. It was in pristine condition.
Steel.
Right. And he's not going to have a safe there that would be easily taken anyway. So I'm wondering if it's somebody that maybe worked on his farm for him. I don't really look at the family. I don't know. It just doesn't strike me as a family member, but maybe somebody that had talked with a family member knew that, maybe he had money in there. Maybe he had, jewelry of some sort. Something was in that safe, or at least they thought. And they went after it. Why they had to shoot and kill an 85-year-old man is beyond me. Unless he had a gun next to his bed. I don't know. Sorry for the background.
If he did, there would have been a dead suspect.
Yeah.
Well, that's another reason why everybody should carry.
Exactly.
Because you know what? Hey, if it's between my life and somebody else, man, guess what, man? You know what? Human right. There it is.
Right. I don't ask. They coming in my house, they're dead.
You know what? I told this to Icons, same way. And he said, dude, if they came into my house, they would have found themselves back out in the yard.
Yeah.
Said, I don't mess around with people kicking my door, breaking in, man. I don't play.
That's right. It's our God-given freedom. American right.
God gave me a gun. Wow.
Exactly. Incognito, there was a murder of a mother of 3 children in Carroll County, and everyone knows who did it, but nothing has been done. Are you talking about the Flora fires?
Yeah, don't say it like that. He's a friend of mine.
Oh.
No,
seriously. Wasn't there 4 children? That's why I wanted to question if there was something else.
I think it was, though. Isn't that the one you're talking about, Ryan? The Flora fire? We got a little bit of delay.
Yeah, that case, I haven't covered that, but I might do that. I feel like it's been covered with Michael and with Anthony.
No.
No, not with you?
No.
Okay.
No, that's Greenos.
Okay.
Same with the reenactment. That's Greenos. Not me.
I know.
When people say your video that you did with, I'm like, no. That's his. Thank you.
Oh, he said Tammy Birdsell?
Don't know.
I don't know that one either.
I'll have to look into it.
We can do that. Okay. So anyway, that's I have just a little bit on the Lowell Badger case, and I'm going to give them a call eventually whenever I can get time and just talk with the investigators on that case and see what else I can get out of them.
Yeah, you know what? If you have any information typed out on that case that you can send to me,
Absolutely.
yeah, please do. Because, you know, I wouldn't mind looking into it. I couldn't really give a person of interest, but just like you, man, I could probably maybe even conclude the very same. You know, it was somebody that knew that the safe was there, probably had in their mind through somebody's words or whatnot, that there was something expensive in there. You break in, you wake the guy up, you get him to open it, whoa, you know, but then you kill him. You see where I'm at? And that's the ugly mess of it.
Yeah. You know, when we talked last time about this case, you had mentioned, well, actually, no, I mentioned it, but I wanted your take on it. The one piece that I find interesting is they searched the water around his farmland. There was ponds, and then the Wabash River was right there on the Illinois-Indiana line. Hey, double ants.
Double ants.
Hey.
She's here somewhere. I hadn't seen her comment in a minute, but she's up there. She's around.
They use scuba divers. They use boats. I mean, why just for the safe?
Well, you know, I mean, I kind of see their point. If a person took a safe out of the house, I mean, the one thing that they got to do, if it's open, is to get rid of that safe. Mm-hmm. Now, if they got it open, why would they take the safe and not just take the contents?
True.
You see where I'm at? But if they took it, got it opened, or could not get it opened, then they would have maybe possibly threw it into a body of water to hide it. That way they wasn't caught in possession of it. See?
Right. I was wondering if they thought these people were on foot. And I was thinking about what you said. That's going to be heavy.
Yeah, that would be some nasty shit, man. Yeah, you know what? Where he lived, it seems like somebody may have seen him, or the suspect's vehicle, anyway.
Well, they said it was, and I don't know where they got their time frame. If maybe somebody saw him, but they said 8 p.m. on December 7th to 9:23 a.m. Saturday morning is when his son found him. So that would be dark time.
Yeah.
And from what Google Maps shows me, there's a house to the maybe right. Like, you know, my right, but to the east rather of his house, and then one kind of catty-cornered to the northwest. So it just depends on when it happened. If it was 2 or 3 a.m., who knows? But then I thought about what if they thought something was in that safe, but actually what they got was just a booby prize. They got papers, and so maybe they were tossing the papers in the
yeah, pot. maybe, but you know, again, if you steal a safe, you got to have a way to open it, and if you're going to steal a safe and open it, I mean, you got to want to know what's inside.
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm at?
And if it's open, that means, and if it's not done by, you know, trickery or whatever, then somebody knew the combination.
Well, I think that may have been the reason, but the thing is if they woke him up, got him to open the safe, and then killed him, why would they take the safe?
True. Yeah.
I mean, you see where I'm at, and then but that's like, well, why? You know, why kill him? Unless it goes back to, like you had stated, he had woke up and he had recognized one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, because of that, and again, I don't know why that one would not had him open it rather than take the whole safe. That just seems a little silly.
Yeah. I never thought about they might have had him open it, but it's a case I would love to know a little bit more, so I'm going to give them a call.
Yeah, I'll look into it. I'll see what I can find. I don't know if I can find anything new, but it gives me shit to do when I'm doing nothing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So
Go ahead.
What do you think about all this new kind of released information in the podcast this week?
What podcast?
Oh, okay. Yeah. What podcast? Shh. We won't talk about it.
No, what podcast?
Well, both the Hughes one and Anthony's and Captain's.
I didn't watch Gray Hughes. I only watched the piece of what Greeno had stated. That's all I really wanted to see. That way I could like show people why, which I have. I could also show people the definition of a person of interest and suspect, and show really the wordplay, because it is hush. It has been hush. I've said it's been hush since last April, after I got pissed off about the briefing. Once I realized, okay, I see what they're doing. I get it. Well, they're not really lying, man. I mean, even if you look at the sheriff's answer, it's not a lie. Oh, and by the way, Tobe watches my channel. Hey, Tobe, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, you doing okay out there, Val? Yeah, look at me, man. I'm Michael J. Cat, dude.
You always have like 76 thumbs up and then like 13 trolls, but then there's always like that gap of like 16 people that never do thumbs up or not, but they're watching. It's like, I wonder if that's all law enforcement.
Yeah, you know what it is, man. It is a statistic. If you look at any video I ever did, every one, it will always be right around, man, like 1/10 of the amount of views will always be thumbs up.
Yeah,
that goes back to my old channel. That's how many people actually just will hit the thumbs up button. 1 out of every like 10 people that like the video will hit that. That's it. Me, I'm compulsive, man. I watch something I'm going to watch, click, or I hit it, man, before the video even starts. I'm compulsive like that, man. That's me. Yeah. I'm different.
I hear you. I do it too.
So what about the podcast? I mean, tell me, what was the deal on it?
Okay. Things that were just suspected was released. You know, that Libby's shoe was found. That's something that I always thought was just speculative. It was said in both their podcasts, which, like I said, Hughes is very close to the family, and seems like the fact that there was interviews with Doug Carter and different ones from the law enforcement, that he wouldn't have been able to say, or he wouldn't have said that on these podcasts if that hadn't have been approved. So there's the shoe that was supposedly found.
Where?
And it was found, correct me if I'm wrong, I know somebody will in the comments, but it was found along the river area. Like, I was thinking it was on the side of the bridge, not near the bridge, but like as they're getting ready to cross the river. Now that could have been on the other side. So someone had got it was a black Nike shoe, and held it up for Kelsey to identify if it was one of the girls, and it happened to be Libby's. Then it was, they were looking, searching, and somebody got out their phone because they thought they seen something. Now, this was said on both podcasts.
Right.
And I believe it was Weaver. And again, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Put up his cell phone and clicked it where he zoomed in to where he was seeing kind of, I don't know, whatever he thought he'd seen. And it was deer.
Yeah.
So as he was viewing that, he saw the bodies or something that captured him to say, hey, there's something else there. And that's how they ended up finding the girls. There was also supposedly a cigarette butt.
Yeah.
They're calling it fresh. I don't know how within a almost 24-hour period they could have called a cigarette butt fresh.
Well, no, actually, I mean, 24 hours, that's pretty fresh.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about a crime where it was committed and everything within 24 hours, that's pretty fresh if it was put out within 24 hours. The only thing that I don't know is if TB smokes.
Right. And what if it was one of the searchers?
With a cigarette, never seen him with a pack, never seen him holding it or anything beside him. So I really don't know. But hey, maybe it's what he does when he commits.
Yeah. I mean, he's a drinker. It not necessarily always happens, but usually those that drink smoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was the thing about the cigarette butt, but it could have been one of the searchers, which, that would be.
Well, it seems like that would have been ruled out if it was.
I would think so. And, it's not saliva that is DNA tested. It's around the area of your mouth. That's why they do the swabs for DNA. So it's not necessarily the saliva that need to be on there. It was from the mouth. So
yeah,
they won't be able to get a lot of DNA off of that. And maybe that's why Paul Holes, who was also interviewed on Hughes, I think it was Hughes's podcast, said that they're going to have a tough time. He was very vague in what he said, but it also leads to me believing that the DNA that they have is going to cause the problem until they're able to compare it to the actual suspect. Does that make sense? Like they don't have it a lot, but maybe a little.
Well, maybe. And again, it's dependent upon where the DNA came from and the circumstances, of course.
Right.
But they do have suspect DNA, and they do have suspect DNA in. They have enough that they can compare it to.
Right. I hope so.
Now, with that in mind, I mean, because they got TB's DNA, and I know that they sent their suspect DNA off to Quantico before Christmas last year. So I'm pretty sure that came back as we got our guy. Now, are they going to tell us that? Will they? No, not until they file charges.
Yeah. Sorry, my dog is
That's fine, man. Dogs do. Wolf was just right here a minute ago. I think he won on camera.
She stalks her nugget. She has to play with the nugget first before she eats it. It's ridiculous.
She's killing the nugget. You know?
She is.
Getting all predatory.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Anyway. The same thing applied down there with Denise Flume, where they searched that pond.
Oh yeah.
And I felt, upon looking back at it, that was probably based off of local rumor, that so-and-so had did this and then, dumped the body like here. And I think that's how a lot of it plays because look, man, half of Carroll County was a person of interest at one time. Mm-hmm. For real. I mean, including the sheriff.
Yeah.
Everybody was a person of interest going back. Now, and again, to say, no, I ain't no person of interest in custody. Well, not for that. No, but yeah. And again, I'm saying it wouldn't, but the thing is it wouldn't have mattered how it was worded. It still would have been no, because that is their investigation. That's what they're silent on. Right. That's what zipped.
With the, comparing it, the police wants us to believe that it's Delphi, a suspect in Delphi or Carroll County. By now, they would have been seen by any of those supposed 4 different eyewitnesses. Yeah, I know. But in these podcasts, it's saying otherwise.
Yeah. You know what? Podcasts can say what they want. If law enforcement didn't say it, I don't buy it.
I know. Well,
because if there was 4, and then why would they say 2? And it goes back like that. Could they lie? Yeah, but why would they lie about that? They're saying 2 that are anonymous. Why not give 2 more that are anonymous?
Right. Supposedly there was a couple that had seen, and then there was another lady that he supposedly gave a weird look to walking in on the Freedom Bridge. That's a lot of people for somebody.
He didn't walk in at the Freedom Bridge.
That's another intricate part there.
Well, that again, I'm stating law enforcement said he parked at the abandoned CPS welfare building.
Right.
Well, that does not cross Freedom Bridge.
Mm-mm. So there's different. These sketches are based on,
One was a suspect and the other one was generic. That's me.
Right. One was the hybrid, which is the younger sketch. So it just, I'm just kind of rattled and trying to break it all down and pick and choose.
You know what? I get rattled here and there. Mm-hmm. Every now and again, man, I do. I get rattled. I get pissed. I get upset. And you know what? Usually once I sit down and I give it a few days, and this is what I really need to normally ever do, is give it a few days, really put my thoughts into it, look at it and go, yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm. Because when you just go off, man, and you just no, like I did, man, after the briefing, man, I was pissed, man. I was wicked pissed about that.
Well, yeah.
I give it about a week or so, then I'm like, yeah, okay, man, I get it. I understand what's going on.
Right. It takes a while. I have to calm down.
So
Get back to basics. because none of.
Do you have another case that you're going to be working soon?
Yes, I actually I have a couple different ones. There's one, Darlene Russell. It's out of Rush County.
Okay.
And her body was found in a different county. No, I'm sorry. Nancy Lyons. Darlene Russell was from Wayne County, and her body was found alongside of a road. But Nancy Lyons from Rush County, this was in 2002. She was age 46. Her car was found running with her purse still in it. And then, I think her body was found in Bartholomew County 2 months later. So I'm going to look into that a little bit more.
Didn't you do one on the Burger Chef murders?
No, I'm going to. Are you going to?
Well, I kind of started that, but what happened? And man, I forget the woman's name. Somebody out there, type it if you know what it is. I think it's Ann something, and she was killed down by Martinsville.
Oh, Ann Harmeyer.
Yes, her.
Yes.
Now, where her body was found was right near, or actually just south of where the Burger Chef victims were found. Same highway.
Mm.
And
Really?
when I seen that, then I thought, no, wait, man, this is the same road, man. So I kind of went up and I marked both spots where it was. And I thought, man, that's very interesting. That's like two sets of murders, man, where the bodies were dumped on a similar area, similar road.
Oh.
And I thought, man, you know what? But the thing is there isn't anybody that I can put as a person of interest to that. But I can point that out. But I'm sure that law enforcement's duly aware of that already.
Maybe so. No, they had somebody in custody that either already died in jail that they thought, and they just kind of wrote off. Yes.
Stephen Duty. When I seen that name, I thought, man, they cooked his ass. I remember back in the day when they did that. That was big news in Indiana. I was a young guy, man.
Yep.
And they fried him with the switch. Yep. Not big graphic, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they've just pretty much said, well, he did it, and they've not really looked into it anymore. It's not been solved. It's not any justice to it. And they won't release any information to the family to look into it further.
They're not.
Just ridiculous.
They're not looking into it any further.
Nope. They're not going to put somebody on that case.
No.
When they think it was Stephen Jimmy.
70s, man. Same as Burger Chef.
Yep. It's very sad. That's why I like doing these cases. I mean, I never thought I'd get in as far as I do or have. And I think on a weekly basis, I think about quitting.
Man, don't. Man, you know what? I looked at your Channel 4 cases. I actually do, because you bring out the goods on it where I go, I like that case, man. You know, that's a case I need to look further into. You know, most of the cases that I followed up and looked at is because you covered them.
That's awesome. I'm glad you do, because you do a good job at investigating, coming to conclusions. I like it.
Well, thanks. It's just part of what I do. Me and work. We do it together.
Can I put you on mute just for 1 second? I think there's somebody at my door.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm surprised my dog's not barking, but hang on 1 second.
Hang on. And Devil's Hand's got something to ask. You know, I can answer that by saying this. They said that was their first sketch. Well, if that was their first sketch, the very first sketch, why did they spend 3 months making the second sketch and then put that out and say, this is the guy we want? This is Bridge Guy. This is what we think Bridge Guy looks like. Well, why did they wait 2 years and 2 months later and then go, yeah, you know what? Forget all about that sketch. That ain't it at all. This is the first sketch we got. This is what we think he looks like. Yeah, again, on the briefing, I call it total BS. Complete. That's why. That's me talking. Hey, if you don't like the way I talk, you can go elsewhere. Not you. Not you. I ain't talking about you. You know I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about other people. God, man, people get so uppity about the things. Like, I was going to tell him that. No, good question, though. Thanks.
Sorry about that.
Oh, all's good.
Of course, when I went to the door, my dog started barking.
Nobody there?
Nobody there. I could have been murdered, and my dog didn't let me know. Crazy.
Sure, well. See, he comes over here, man. Yeah, if I'm sitting over here, he's got to be right here, man. If I'm on the couch, and he's over on the chair, he ain't paying me a time of day.
Exactly. When I'm doing a show, the cat and the dog, they both have to be in here chumping on their nuggets, being annoying. Just
Yeah,
like
that works.
when I did my viewer video the other day, you could hear the cat in the background purring, meowing. I'm like, oh, good grief. You never come around unless I'm doing something.
Yeah, right. See, like, look, man, like right now he's looking at me like he wants something. Like, what, man? Why? Can you not tell him in the show? Do you not see a camera? Oh, you probably can't see it from there, huh?
Well, did you want me to let somebody else call in? And
Well, I was actually kind of waiting to throw that up, and let's throw the number up there, and anybody that wants to call in, you'll be live, and you will be talking to me or Incognito Society. Your call. Whatever you want to talk about, it's your show.
I think it's Devil Lance's turn. He didn't call in last week, did he?
I think he did. Oh, wait, no, you know what? I don't think he did. I think you're right. I think something happened there at the end where he had to take off for a minute and didn't get to call in. Hey, call in, Devil Lance. Love to hear from you. See, I was going to have this like a call-in show, but, last night, man, I mean, when I got a hold of you, that's when I was asking if, you wanted a special guest. Got a hold of me, and then like, yeah, man, I'll do it. And I'm like, okay, great. I got to go back and change the title. I got to go, special guest, Incognito Society right now.
I'm so bad about checking my email. I don't do it daily. So then when I got your call, and I was like, I can't wait till I get off work. I apologize for the delay.
Well, see, I kind of thought you was Alaska Blue.
Oh, when I called early? Okay, that's why you're like...
Yeah, and I'm like, wait,
who is
which
this?
one? Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Right.
Both of us have the same first name?
Alaska Blue was supposed to be here. It did not show. She did not show.
Oh, okay. So we have the same first name.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, you both go by Alaska. Incognito Blue.
Yeah, exactly. Alaska Society. No, I also have another one that I want to look into is Ruby Carr. She was 74 out of Miami County, Peru, Indiana.
Really?
From 1983. Now, I know nothing about this case. I was murdered.
Name's Mary Carr?
Ruby
Carr, Carr?
Yes.
I will kind of check into that. That's up there where I lived at.
Okay.
In fact, 1983, that's the year I went to Germany.
Yep, September 5th of 1983. And I just kind of read something briefly on it. I think it was on...
That was right before I went to Germany, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people want to kill old people. I don't know why people want to kill anybody, but seriously.
Old people? Well, I mean, like, you know what, man? There's some people that need to die. I mean, if somebody is confronting somebody, man, threatening death upon them, then that person has the human right to kill them. There it is. Yeah. But that aside, nobody should go out and openly commit murder against anyone. But old people, young people,
I can't. Right.
That's beyond wrong, man.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So I wrote that one down along with Darlene Russell. She was 21, 1981 case out of Wayne County.
Didn't hear about that one either.
So there's a couple. Yeah, I think that's all I wrote down that I'm going to look into coming up on Incognito Society.
Coming up right now on Incognito Society.
Looks like Devil Lance has got to eat. I understand. I haven't had dinner either, Devil.
I got it. And you know what? I haven't had pork chops yet.
Sounds great.
I always eat pork chops.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, man, I oink in my sleep. Thank you. Thanks. Well, that's what Wolf says.
You oink
I don't know if he's lying or not. He could be lying like a dog.
Oh, my gosh. That's funny. I think I'm going to have chicken. That's what I'm having tonight.
Yeah, chicken, man. We got all kinds of chickens out here, man. We got like 32 chickens, man, that just like free range everywhere, anywhere they want to go. And where are they most of the time? On Ryan's porch, man. They shit his porch the hell up, man. Sometimes he can't hardly open the door through all the turkey shit.
Oh, my God.
That's pretty insane. But, man, it's got like that overhang, so they all get up underneath there in the daytime.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, kind of cool, man. I mean, I wouldn't see an issue with it. Him, man, he's all the time throwing firecrackers out his front door at him, man. Get out of here. Don't come back.
Oh my gosh. You're gonna have to video when that one time.
I may.
Anyone ever watch the movie Prisoners? Never heard of it. See, there's somebody messing around my house. There's my dog again. Hang on a second.
Yeah,
I
no problem.
apologize.
It's all good. Okay. Dustin. Yeah, here, hang on, man. Let me highlight that there for you. Yes, it is to me already solved. I have solved the case, and I know that law enforcement has the same knowledge I do, plus, but it's going to stay where it is until about this time next year. Not next year. It will be this year. Late this year, they will come out with it once they can go down and talk to TV. That's when he'll be a suspect. That's when they'll file charges. That's when everybody will hear about it. Got about 1 year. But it's not going cold. Believe me, it will never be cold, man. They got so much evidence in this case. There is no way it could go cold. They have video, audio, DNA. I believe they have fingerprints. They got 2 people. Minimally, I ain't knowing I'm even going to piss with podcasters, but minimally 2 people that seen him that made the sketch. There ain't no way that the guy could not get caught in the eventual. Oh, hey, man, Kelly, man, I hope your son does good tonight, man. You know, tell him to give it all his best. I hear
Sorry about that.
society approaching.
I am back.
All right. Good time.
Yes.
So, because there is a lack of things to discuss tonight, I mean, concerning Delphi, I didn't have anything planned. Actually, kind of what I wanted to do was have you on and then just have people call in. And people can still call in.
Oh, yeah.
That number is right here. I mean, like we was waiting for Double Lance. He's got to eat. So if anybody would like to call in and discuss anything, please ring a ding, 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 ding. Thank you.
Do you think on the Delphi case that the DNA is solely fingerprints?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it could be from fingerprints. Hey, you know what? It could be from a cigarette butt. It could be more than that. If you see where I'm at, there's a lot of ways that they could get DNA. And once that they have DNA, then they can duplicate that DNA. But we know that they have a full enough DNA that they can put into CODIS now.
Right.
Hello. Yeah. Do what?
I think there was a second during the show. I'm still trying to get justice for the Prager family.
Yeah, I know. You talk about it all the time. I hear you. See, now
everyone knows who did it.
Except law enforcement.
No, they do.
Okay, then why ain't they arresting people?
Twice.
Why ain't they arresting people?
No, he's been arrested twice.
Okay.
And released.
Okay.
But late night discussions with people who have been there, they've told me they've seen it go down.
Yeah.
It left 3 kids without a mom.
Yeah.
It's just how Carroll County is. I keep repeating that Carroll County is a hush-hush place.
That's fact.
What is the case? I'm sorry. Prater is the last name?
Ryan?
Yeah. Yes.
Prater.
His mother was found shot in the bushes in front of her boyfriend's house. While her ex-husband was there, her fingerprints were not on the .30-06 rifle that was blasted in her face. The farmer has been arrested twice. And they keep letting him go.
Huh.
You said the farmer? What was the first name of Prater? I'm sorry.
I'd rather not say it.
Oh, okay.
Tammy Burtell is the woman who got murdered.
Oh, okay. I wrote down the wrong name.
They ruled it as suicide.
Really?
Yes. And through late night drunken discussions with certain people who ended up, I was there that night.
You were there, huh?
I can't name names right now. If somebody really wants to investigate it, they can. I want this because Tammy was a good woman.
Okay.
She was shot in the face with a 30-06.
Yeah, that's not.
Not from her 30-06. Her fingerprints were not on that gun. His were.
What year was this?
Oh, good grief. It may have been 10 years ago or more.
Okay. And it was Carroll County?
Yeah.
Okay. And they just ruled it a suicide, so it's not even on as an unsolved case then.
Look up Dan Fosnot.
Dan Fosnot. Okay. I will do that.
Her ex-husband was there. He was seen going to the woods directly after. It was late at night, and everybody had taken off, but there was a few people still there. And those few people that were there, I have talked to late at night, and they've confessed, but they it's too much to have on your shoulders. She's a mother of 3, and a single mother of 3.
Gotcha. So she would have no reason to commit suicide, is what you're saying.
No.
Gotcha.
She was a great person.
Yeah, it's sad. Very, very sad.
Mother to half of the high school there. I mean, she just. It's something that's just
not right, huh?
There's no rhyme or reason to it. And I've had people confess, yeah, he was going into the woods and he was going into a house, and her fingerprints never on the damn gun.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Did they retrieve the gun that?
Yes.
Oh.
The gun?
Yeah, and they didn't find any. Did they find any fingerprints on it?
Only Dan Fosnot.
And that was who in this? Was that her ex-husband?
That was the guy she was dating at the time.
Ah, okay. Okay. Well, thank you for the info. I'll definitely look into it.
I said call in, so I figured I'd call in.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah.
There's witnesses. If I really talk to them, if somebody wants to really get something together, they'll probably come out and talk.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, you never know what happened from YouTube. You know, get some fire behind it. You know?
I'll be listening.
All right, man. Thanks for calling, dude. Peace.
Bye.
That was a good friend of mine, lives down the road here. Wolf, why are you staring at me, man? You know I don't like that, man. I can't do anything. I'm in a show, bro. God, man. He's just sitting there staring at me. He's like, come on, man. Dude.
He wants to make an appearance. That's the problem. You're not giving him no airtime.
Yeah. And he don't like being picked up. Does not dig that shit much. There you go. A little FaceTime on the camera, huh? Look, is that Wolf right there? Yeah, it's Wolf.
He's such a stud. He's a total stud.
And, yeah, he's my big bear. Love him the most, man, more than anything.
Look, Hannah.
Aw. Yeah, he's over 100 now, man. He's a big, big dude, aren't you? You're an old man filled with wisdom and shit. That's why he helps me with these cases.
Yep, he looks good for his age.
Yeah, he's damn good for his age.
Heck yeah.
So, anyway, yes. Now, on the case that he was talking about, because I hear about it all the time, and I know that, like, sooner or later he would be calling in with this case. So, but there it is. So, if anyone does want to go look into that, those are the facts that he gave to it. Please check into it, check it out, and if you find anything, let me know. Yeah, Wolf is cute. Yeah, you know what, man? I got pictures when he was 6 weeks old. Just a little bitty guy, man. Just I don't know. I love my dog, man. What can I say? So anyway, let me think here. There was a name that you brought up earlier. One moment.
Okay.
Hello. How are you? Is it okay to put you live? Is it okay to be live? Okay.
If you hear dogs barking in the background, I apologize in advance.
No problem at all. We all have dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's gone to the dog. Something. Why is it that half the over 30, 35 men in Indiana look like the bridge guy? Or at least look like him.
You know what? Actually, I can say this, man, because this happened so many times. Walk into a store, man, and this is prior to, man. This goes back over a year ago. You stand in a store and a guy comes like walking by, and it's just like, this fucking bridge guy, man. You know, because everybody dresses like that. Everybody's got that look. You can't see the face, but you see that outline. It's like, yeah, that could be bridge guy right there, man. That could be him, dude.
Yeah, I do the same thing on the other side of Indiana. I swear, I see bridge guy everywhere I go.
Yeah, well, out here in Denver, it's the same. They're just, everybody's dressed in one of those winter coats, and oh my gosh. I have spent the week trying to figure out how in the world some of these people on social media can say what they do. And Facebook's the worst.
Yeah, Facebook is.
I don't even go on Facebook. I thought about starting an Incognito Society Facebook page. No way.
Yeah. You know, I got one over there, man. It's called, God, man, I forget what it's called. Thomas Bruce, Delphi Suspect, something like that. But, man, I just invited my friends to see it. But I got, like, my record that I had, like, had recorded. I got, like, most of that on it. Not all of it, man. I put a lot more into it before I got it recorded. But most of that's there. I got, like, a lot in the timeline, shit like that, different aspects. But for what, man? I mean, it doesn't really get anything out. I mean, I'm not in there chatting with people. I'm not making, like, posts where I'm talking to people. It's just like a fact-based information page.
I didn't even know that existed.
Exactly it. I have a question for Miss Incognito.
All right.
Hi.
You can listen to and throw your two cents worth in. What if
Mm-hmm.
law enforcement has two separate DNA samples?
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't answer yet. Let me explain.
Please go on.
Please, what if the cigarette was found, say, 25 feet away for conversation purposes, and they found another set of DNA on one of the girls, or let's just say some item that was dropped. Who knows? And those two DNA samples conflict with each other, and they know pretty much that it was just one person. So I'm not suggesting that there's two people out there.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am suggesting is they aren't positive which DNA may be correct. Maybe suspects or person of interest or the guy next door. What do you think? Did that make sense?
Yes. So Robert Ives did an interview, and he said that the crime scene was very odd. So I would say anything on the bodies of the girls that matched. If the cigarette butt was near the ravine, then they probably, and we're saying that there's 2 different DNA samples. I would think they would go with the one that was on the bodies or very near to the girls. Then they would take that cigarette butt next to the ravine. I mean, that's just me looking at the case, but
Yeah, you know what? I would agree. I would think that first that would go into play would be something at the crime scene that regarded the crime, but anything outside of that would be like picked up as evidence, is like secondary.
right.
You see where I'm at?
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
you don't, in the whole scope of trying to figure out why this hasn't been solved yet, and I'm on board with Thomas Bruce. Don't worry about that. But what I am sort of worried about is that the maximum amount of time that I've heard that it takes to do the genetic DNA family research is 3 years. And that was in another case somewhere. So we're coming up on the 3-year mark, and it would seem, depending on when they send it in, that it should be done and back, and they would have at least an idea.
Well, you know what? I can kind of cover this on that because C.C. Moore was called in on the John D. Miller case in May of 2018. Now, she narrowed that down through the software, then manually made a family tree down to him and his brother and said it's one of these 2 guys. Now, they went out to those 2 men who were brothers, got items out of the garbage that had their DNA on them, and then tested those against the DNA they already had and arrested him in July of 2018, 2 months later. 2 months later.
I know, that was pretty quick.
No, that's more than quick. That means that she got that narrowed down within a month and a half just from his DNA. From his DNA to who it was without him ever having been arrested within a month and a half. So now when the newspapers came out and said that Carroll County investigators were going to use the same technology as what got John D. Miller, okay, then that's when I felt, okay, we're looking at about 2 months here. You know, that's what we're looking at, about 2 months before they have it narrowed down to a name. Well, 2 months later is when TB started his escapade down there in St. Louis. Sexually assaulted a 77-year-old, got pulled over, Catholic supply store, 3 months right after that. Once it came that deadline, he knew they was going to come knocking. That's what started it, man. That's what kicked it off.
Well, and I believe that, but I'm just trying to figure out why it's taking so long. I'm impatient.
Well, you know,
guy in jail.
I think that they knew, or they was very close to knocking on his door in the first place before the Catholic supply store event happened. But again, I think that was one of those things where he felt that, hey, you know what? They're coming. They're going to come to my house. They're going to be knocking. Ain't going to be no escape. I'm going out on my own methods here. I'm going to go do what I'm going to go do. He knew he wasn't getting away with that, man. He knew. There was no way in hell he could get away with that, and he knew it. But he went and did it anyway, because when the cops were coming in, he had a handgun, death by cop. That's what he was looking for. He didn't get it. Made me have to wait 2 years before he was going to be announced. But guess what? It will be announced this year. And Ben, if I could just say, please make it quick, God, because I'm over this shit. Please, for the love of God, just get that announcement happened. Because, man, it's getting old, man. It's getting real old.
It's hard every day.
Well, I mean, you understand because there's like so long till you have to that you got to repeat yourself, and then it's like, God, I got to repeat myself, so I got to get on there and find a method to repeat myself again. It gets old, and I got to do that for another year. I want you to think about what I'm going to have to deal with until it finally comes out, and then I don't want any sorries. I don't want anybody showing up saying I'm sorry. You know what? Save it, man. Keep it in your hometown. I don't want no sorries at that point. What I want, man, is like carry on. Just get the hell on down the road, same as you've always done.
Exactly. Speaking from what she was saying with the DNA and how long it's been, this whole time that TB has been in custody in Missouri, there has been no comment on him. They'll say other suspects have been covered.
Yep.
But they have not said one word. And when you talk to them, Michael, Kim Riley bowed out, acting like he didn't even know who TB was.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I asked him, I said, "So you don't know anything about him?" Oh, well, I do, but I can't comment on that. Okay, fair enough. You can't comment on what you know. But a minute ago, you thought I was him. How weird is that shit?
Yeah, he was playing dumb.
Yeah,
Please.
more than a little bit. But go ahead.
No, it went right out of my head. I guess I had a senior moment. What do you think your prosecutor's going to do when he has a suspect in jail?
Honestly, I think that the way it will go down, and it is for the right reason, and I'm not taking anything away from it except for the mere fact of what it means. If they go in, anybody, and I don't give a rat's behind who anybody thinks it is, if they go in there and talk to that guy, this is probably going to be their words. Look, we're a death penalty state. We got all this evidence on you. However, if you go in and you just plead guilty so we can cut you right on out, we'll give you life behind bars without parole, same as you already got. You'll spend it down in Missouri, case closed. That way we ain't got to bring all this to the forefront where everybody can see it. That's what we want. But on the flip side of that coin, that means that monster won't get death either. And this is the only state that could give it to him thus far.
Well, and, some of that information doesn't need to come out. The whatever he did to those girls, I don't think it's a good thing.
No, and I agree. And I do agree to that point. But the thing is what he did to those girls deserves more than what he's already got. They done gave him life without parole down there just to say, oh, you're going to go down there and spend the same one-arm ticket too? Fine, fair, right. Go ahead. But the thing is like, then he don't get death. No, when you kill 2 minor girls, irregardless, you should die. You should die.
That's exactly right. Do you think your prosecutor is strong enough to do that?
Oh, hell, I have no idea, man. Look, you're talking about a Carroll County prosecutor. He's used to prosecuting Ronald Logan on a DUI. He don't face this shit.
I think
they would probably send one of their prosecutors down to run it. But and that might be the best thing that could happen is just let the state of Indiana send one of the attorneys general down and boom, death penalties back on the table. Might happen that way.
Well, that is what I want. But the thing is, they're going to have to move it. It won't be held in Carroll County aside of the initial trial. When he goes in the first time,
I agree.
That's got to be in Carroll County. After that, they'll probably move it to Indy, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just not something you'd never get a jury, and I don't know what the jury procedure is when you can't find an unbiased jury. But
well, you can't in Carroll County, man. Everybody's been a person of interest. You can't find somebody like that in Carroll County.
Can't. So it's going to be very expensive to move. sorry, it's going to be very expensive to move it because you're going to have to pay for everybody's housing, witness travel, a lot of different things. So it's going to be spendy, and whatever judge has the case in Carroll County is going to be moved up there as well. All the prosecutors, their support staff, defense attorneys. It's going to be real interesting to watch and see if they get him to trial in the same time frame that St. Louis does.
Yeah, that you know what, that draws up a big question as to how they will go about that, because there's a lot on TV, man. I mean, there's a lot of cases, and they go back through time. And in what order are they going to, pursue each case? You see where I'm at?
Mm-hmm.
Would he have to go to Michigan and then stay in Michigan, then to Iowa, then to Delphi? Or does it go beyond that, where it goes to California, to Michigan, to, like that, where, he wouldn't actually appear in an Indiana court until like 6-8 years down the road?
The only thing that I can add to that is all the prosecutions can come right back into a meeting and agree that they will wait and not prosecute him because it's more economic to prosecute him in Indiana and get the death penalty and be done with it. And then if something happens where the death penalty is overturned in Indiana, which is always a possibility, you could then proceed to prosecute him on all of the other murders that he's committed.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't see them doing that in Iowa. I don't think that they got like much of any evidence outside of a vehicle type. That's it. They didn't have anybody seen. They didn't, know, but nothing. But in Indiana, they got the full load. They got everything. They got it all.
Oh, yeah. Iowa's, in a lot of ways, a lot more liberal.
Yeah, they don't even have the death penalty.
Nope.
Yeah, we just keep it because it looks
Indiana's
cool.
it. Indiana's his last stop.
Well, that's what I would see now. The citizens of Evansdale, they want the death penalty for the guy. And so if he's ever caught, we want him to die, man. And that's how they feel about it. Delphi? Yeah, they may, it's probably a cold case, man.
Yeah, they can't get him in Iowa at all because you can't date the death penalty back. You just can't do that. Backdate. So he's about done if Indiana gets a hold of him.
Well, that is my hope. I mean, it is. Look, man, if it was me, and I know this does not sound right, and this may sound a little bit different than my norm. However, this right here and I'm going to be looking at it at 4 years. 4 years time put in looking at this case. If I had it my way, I would hand that fucker to me, and me, you, everybody, the whole county of Carroll would go out to the Monon High Bridge, man, drop a rope. You see where I'm at? We would Amber Green him right there. Johnny to the spot, give him about that much leeway from his feet hitting the bottom of where the water is, and let him drop, man. Because that's what he's got coming, man. Let him think about that while we carry his ass out there. That's what should be done.
Amen.
Now, that's me because, look, man, this guy's a freaking monster. He don't need to do life behind bars in protective custody where nobody can do anything to him. What the hell, man? That's treating him like a king. No, this dude's a monster. He needs to die. Straight up die. Tobe, I know you're watching, Tobe. Hey, buddy, let's kill his ass. Tobe.
Yeah, and that's true. But every day that he is out walking around doing all of his normal things is a gift. And these guys don't, this type of killer does not deserve a gift. My true feelings on that. And with that, Michael, I'm going to let you go. You want me to stay longer?
Well, you can't. Devil Lance was going to call. I hadn't seen him pop back up on the screen here in the last few minutes. But, yeah, if you had anything else you wanted to end on, man, go ahead.
Well, it's, I've done some research online, and I'm running into a big cement concrete reinforced wall, and that's the state of California.
Okay.
And there just isn't a lot out there. Unless anybody has some suggestions about where to go to research cases back when he was in the service out there.
Yeah. You know what? Let me kind of break in here on that real fast, and let me tell you that I ran into the same issue as you, identically. Out there in that area, specifically those two counties, there were so many that, like, if you go back per year, there were like loads of cases where like people was like abducted, found murdered. A lot of them are like Jane Does, you know, this kind of thing. So it's really hard to narrow down and find. Now in Michigan, it wasn't. Michigan was real easy, man. If you search like right there in like Flint County and surrounding, there's very little. But the ones that you find, man, it's always a female, always brutally raped and murdered, always left in the woods, you know, and you can pinpoint exactly where, how, and when. And that's what points back to TV every single time. I told my brother who's stationed out there, same place in San Diego. I told him about it, man. And I told him, I says, man, if you hear of anything like that, let me know. But because it's very hard to look up online because there is so many. And if you look up a case, man, they'll bring up men, women. You can't really narrow that down by keyword.
No, but I bet they're looking. I'll bet law enforcement in San Diego County is looking.
Yeah.
And basically that's it. But no, since California passed their privacy laws.
Yeah.
After, I can't remember his name. His daughter was murdered by her ex-boyfriend. And that just set everybody back because the only way he got her address after she had moved was due to a private investigator being able to get it. And that's what prompted the law. And now it's harder than heck to find any information about anybody. But he lived down in St. Louis a long time.
Yeah.
And I do believe that there's more within driving distance.
I believe you there, and that's why Beth Bentley really stuck out if you ever looked into her murder. Now, her body was burnt, but they found her bones, and it was in the woods not far from where she was abducted at an Amtrak station. Now, if you abduct somebody from an Amtrak station, chances are you got to know who they are, or they got to know who you are. You know, just some unknown subject doesn't come up and say, come with me. Oh, all right. You know, it don't really happen like that. But she was seeing the man in St. Louis. Okay. Now, it didn't give the man's name. In fact, I don't even know they knew the man's name. But she was down at a friend of hers house to go down there. And she took the train down to Southern Illinois. So, I mean, I did put that up as a possibility. But there is no way that I can, you know, there's nothing about the murder. You know, I mean, it just stood out as, well, yeah, it kind of fits a little bit. But I wouldn't put it up there as he's like number one suspect or anything. Now, Susan Collins, if he was in the area code of where Susan Collins got killed down there in Tennessee, he did it because that fits his MO like no other.
I wholly agree. And the state of Tennessee is in a mess over that. And I think you and I have chatted before that I'm real surprised that Barry Scheck didn't turn right around in federal court and file something.
Well, it may take longer to do in federal court. I mean, the time process may be longer than, what it was first here.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see because I don't think he'll drop it. I don't think he'll drop it. He's not the kind of guy to drop anything.
Right.
Which is right.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that he'd drop it exactly, but I'm just saying it may take a little bit longer because as it goes up the ladder, the longer you got to wait. I mean, if you take a court like from like county all the way up to the Supreme Court, you're looking at years of getting there. You see where I'm at? Because then you start like falling back where you're on a list to get to that, rather than.
It depends on how he takes it. If it goes up through the state system and the state court system, it'll take years. But if he has a reason, and he's brilliant, so I don't doubt that he's going to come up with one. I think he could take it into federal court, and it could go a lot faster than what we thought.
Well, I would like to see that, but at the same time, all of that would be done before it would ever get to Carroll County. You see where I'm at? By a long shot. Because first they got to get him back here and then start prosecuting. But by that time, through a year, and then you got to get him up here to prosecute him, which is going to continue through another year. I mean, like, and that's if they don't go with other cases first, or no matter, depending on how they play that. If they do it all in Indiana, no matter what, it's still going to give a lot of time. Now, if he does get that, if he gets that underwear and it comes back to this Thomas Bruce, there goes the death penalty. They're not going to kill him at that point. Man, one man was already murdered for this. When will we ever stop? We got to stop killing people. Oh, holy shit. Man, that would be a shitbag, people. I don't like that.
I think that it might be anyway. Because there's going to be a lot of lawyers. If he killed Susan Collins and they can prove it, there's going to be lawyers forever. But one thing that I think that they can do, now I'm not a lawyer, but I think that they can do this. They can bifurcate, and they're going to have to sit down and all agree. There was just a case where somebody shot a cop up in Saginaw County, or Saginaw Township, just out of Saginaw. And they caught him the next morning, I think, or the next afternoon. Mm-hmm. But he had violated the law in 3, 4, 5 counties. And the prosecutors all sat down and said, okay, I will waive my prosecution for right now. You take and prosecute him up in Saginaw instead of Flint, Lansing, and Shiawassee County, I think it was. Right. And so that's what they did. They just combined the cases because they were all in the same state. Now, I don't know how it works with murders in separate states, especially, and this could happen, I don't know, if the feds came in and prosecuted him. If the feds came in and prosecuted him, it's all over because there is a federal death penalty.
And they could roll them all into one.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me?
And they could roll all of them into one case.
Right.
Yeah.
They could roll it all in because it's interstate. And he violated federal law. But I'm not that familiar with it. I've heard of it, but not tracked it. And they didn't do it with, like, Bundy, but times have changed.
Yeah.
And if they're going to prosecute him, just get him once and get him good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's it. No matter who can do it.
Well, whoever's going to do it, man, I want him dead. There it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
We all do. Yep.
In fact, I could not be more proud of Carroll County if they straight amber greened him. If they did, man, all these people showed up and said, nah, step back, Sheriff. We're here for a reason, pal, if you don't mind. I didn't see you calling the National Guard, so you knew it was coming.
Exactly. But, who knows? There's no reason to kill two 13-year-old girls.
No,
There
but
is none. There's
that's the point.
There's always going to be a mental health issue or something like that tries to come in. But there is no reason. Some people are just bad. And some people are worse, and I call them evil.
Yeah.
But this guy needs to be punished.
Betcha.
And there's no question about that. Why does law enforcement keep pushing this thought that he is local?
Because that's the impression they was under originally. It's old information. They know now that it's old information that is worthless. So they can hand that out as information that they knew because they have not went and talked to him, you see. So they can now hand that out as, well, we now believe that and hand that out and it's all good. Well, that's what we knew. We didn't talk to him. We hadn't finished investigating. That's what we knew, and we told you what we knew. That's how that ended. But ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Here he is. It's the way law enforcement will do, man. It just is. It's law enforcement.
Okay, I'll take your word for that one.
Thank you.
I don't think I can argue with it.
Well, what else? I always think, what else could they say at this point? Yeah, we got a serial killer out there that came to little small town Delphi. I mean, the head of the FBI, Comey, was it, when this happened?
Yeah.
Did I get that right? He was briefed about the situation. How many murder cases are briefed through the FBI's head?
Not many.
Not many.
I
So,
agree with you.
yeah, I believe that they think this is a serial killer. So how can the serial killer be local? I mean, they can be, but let's look at it from perspective. He would still be serial killing in the last 3 years and has not. Well, not around Carroll County anyway.
Down in the Catholic supply store murders and everything he did there, he was, I believe, and I don't know how you two feel, he left enough breadcrumbs to be found.
Mm-hmm.
And the police did a tremendous job, talking to people in that area so that the waitress at that bar remembered his business card. I mean, that's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it is. But, like I said, I mean, I think that was all set up right there, that he wanted death by cop.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's exactly what it was. He knew he was going to be caught. He knew the cops were going to come knocking any day, see Seymour. He knew that was coming. He wanted to go out on his own style. That's why he went and did it. He knew the cops were going to be at his house within due time. Handgun, death by cop. There it is. Now, it didn't play out like that, thankfully. But, let me take this back a minute, man, with the FBI being there on the 14th before the girls were found. I always thought that was odd, that the FBI was there, like first day before the girls were found, until later down the way, further down the way, when I said, no. Now I see a suspect drove. Now I see the reason. It is because it was similar to Evansdale. It was on the reverse day. It was on a small trail next to a highway. They smelt the rat. They wanted to get there, see if there was foul play. If there was, they wanted to make a comparison because they were looking for a serial killer. And that serial killer is sitting in St. Louis jail right now. And they know that. That's why they went down there and got his DNA right away. That's why the FBI, not Indiana, FBI talked to all of his friends and neighbors down there. Everybody he knew, they talked to, because they knew that he was that guy. Now, I ain't talking just Delphi and Evansdale, also Mary Pryor and Ann Pates. Probably goes well beyond that. And they know that they got their guy. So are they going to like tell us, yeah, we got him, dude. We got him. No, because this is close to their vest, man. This falls under that Indiana code, and it is not something that they are going to hand to you with a, yeah, you got us. You got us, man. You came in with the right question. That shit ain't going to play. Hang on, man. Let me show that one more time, just for any noobs that may have just arrived. This is the letter that I got from Tobe Lesenby concerning the timestamp of the images of the suspect walking across the bridge, because we knew that the last photo of Abby was taken at 2:07. I wanted a timestamp on that. See how fast he could have got from the bend up to and across the bridge. Nope. I don't think the investigators are going to want to release that information. Well, ask them. I will. Okay. I wait about a week or so, ask back. Well, could I get that information or not? Here's what he wrote. After further review of your request on about April 18, 2018, and this date, your request is being denied for the reasons stated in the reply email on or about April 18, 2018. As I indicated, the requested information is considered investigatory record and is accepted from disclosure as provided under Indiana Code 514-3-4B1 of the Indiana Public Access Laws. Thank you, Tobe. And that's why they're not going to frickin' tell you.
Well, did he call it investigative record?
I don't know. In what? In his response?
Yeah.
Or in my email?
Either one.
Yes.
What you just read to me.
Yes.
Investigative record.
That's right. Now,
hey?
If he was to say, well, we got a person of interest that is in jail in another state, well, then everybody would have hopped on that and said, holy shit, it is him. But they ain't going to put that out until they go down and talk to him. Because till they go down and talk to him, he is not fully investigated. He just remains a person of interest that has not been spoken with. Until charges are filed of double murder against him, he will not be a suspect. Period. The end.
When's the last time law enforcement said anything to the community about being safe?
You know what? I think it was just that one time when the sheriff had said that.
February 22nd, 2017.
Oh, excellent job, man. I applaud you.
Very good. I am
Incognito on the spot.
That was not a setup, by the way. That was just too good to be true. That's awesome. Miss Cognito, I'm bowing to you.
There it is. You have bows.
Don't bow to me, really. It's just
definitely
information that's stored in my brain. I'm telling you.
No, you know what? Devil Lance, I mean, I give Tobe his due. I think that Tobe is a good guy. I mean, as far as that goes, yeah, he's law enforcement, but as a person, I mean, like, I see him as being a good guy. I don't think poorly of the man like I did Randall or anything. I think that he's a good guy. He's doing his job and he's doing it quite well. But the simple fact is, I've done put this case into a box. It's not that I'm blind to everything outside of that box, but I see where all the lines connect with the criteria. And it's all right there. Anybody that can't see that, anyone who can't look at that and say, yeah, that's him. Look, man, I could use like criminal behavior. You know, I mean, I can look at this from any kind of angle that you want. And it all goes back to TV. Every stinking piece of it.
Exactly right.
There isn't a piece that I cannot explain. It goes that deep. But then again, I ain't your normal person either, though. You know, I ain't that normal guy hopping on Facebook looking for answers. I ain't that guy out there seeking a $1,500 camera for nothing. Do what?
I'm going to say a word.
What's that?
Not going to say a word about that.
About what?
About anything about you. How's that?
Well, I don't know. Was you going to say something bad, man? Is that it?
No, I'm not saying anything, and you're not going to trick me into saying anything.
Well, what do you think I'm trying to trick you into saying, man? Now I feel on the spot.
I haven't even had that thought. I can't even say. I'm speechless. But I do have a question. Do you know if the FBI special card team was in Delphi pretty quick?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Very quick. In fact, when the bodies were found, I think that the FBI took over like CSI, forensics, and part of the investigation is what Sheriff Lesenby told me. Also surrounding counties, the investigator that came to my house was from Howard, not Carroll. So, you know, the FBI really took over immediately. And I think probably for the first 45 days, maybe more than that, they were set up there in Delphi with satellite back to Quantico. And, you know, it was just at that time, it was like any day, man. Well, when is this guy going to be arrested? You know, days turn to weeks, turn to months, turn to years, and it's just not happened. But now we know who did it, or at least I do. Those who don't know, go back and watch my videos, man. Had somebody ask me earlier, well, how do you know it's him? Well, dude, man, you're showing up a little late, man. Go back and watch my videos, man. It explains the biggest part of it. I'll guarantee it.
Well, let me ask you this. This is not a good flow of questions, but
That's good.
Miss Cognito?
Yes. Hi.
If you had to make an educated guess, what kind of crimes in his past, Thomas Bruce, would you be looking for? You know, a lot of brutal murders or gradual ascension into what he did in Delphi?
Well, wait, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what he did in Delphi.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just never been released. So,
you know, you're right.
But go ahead.
The only thing that I can go off of is what Doug Carter, Kim Riley, and the sheriff have said.
Yeah.
And that and the prosecutor said it was odd, but they have all said it was very brutal.
Mm-hmm. Well, as best as I have looked into him, the case in Tennessee threw me for a loop. I would have thought he would have started with maybe a rape, and then that escalated to murder, or a random shooting at a gas station, and then it went into rape and murder. But then the Tennessee case, if he's behind that, and this is all speculation, you know, alleged and all this, if he's behind that, he was brutal out of the gate at 18 years old. Or how old was it at the time?
Yeah, I think you would have been 18 or 19 at the time.
Yeah, brutal right out of the gate. So anything like that on. I don't think he changed his MO over the years. That's my twofold answer.
Mine, it kind of works like this. If you're looking at like sexually motivated crimes, normally there's a confidence that grows. Like you do one because there's that fantasy that they're living in their head. You know, there's this fantasy that keeps growing until it needs acted out. Now, once they go and they commit that, they say, okay, that wasn't like my fantasy was exactly. So then they try to perfect that as they go along. But the beginning one should fit about the end as far as the motive or the MO, like the brutality of the act. You know, the brutality of the act is the motive behind what it is that he's doing. And I think that most would fit that. Now, when I look at the Michigan cases, brutal. When I look at like Susan Collins, I'm like, wow, that is like peaches and cream identical to what those are. You know, and if he was down there at that time, yeah, that guy got executed for doing nothing. And I can't understand that at all. But I think that all of them would have been brutal, and all of them would have been, for the most part, sexually motivated.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing that I could possibly add is that maybe he abused animals as a small child. I don't know.
I don't think he fits that for some reason, and maybe it's just my own.
You know what?
Feelings.
He owned 2 dogs, and he
Yeah.
walked them all the time. And that his neighbor told me that, like, oh, he'd all the time be out walking his dogs, and he'd stop over, hi, how are you guys doing? You guys have going to go, you know, all this and that, real friendly guy, you know. And I know that, like, a lot of serial killers, before they ever commence toward a person, but I think that it being sexually motivated, you know, aside of killing, and and I'm not taking that out of it, but there is always that leeway for doing that when they're younger, you know, when they're much younger, to like abuse an animal. But, and so it's not in every case. I mean, like, I'll put it to you like this, and I don't know it factually. I don't think Ted Bundy ever like abused animals, but then there's like quite a few that did. It was always something from very small that was in their head. You know, they needed something to expound their power upon.
Right. I don't think.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think this has something to do. If somebody asked about his childhood, that it's quite possible that there was a female in his life. I don't know who raised him, or whatever, or a wife that may have done him wrong, girlfriend, whatever. But I think it relates to a female in his life. And that's just my guess on what his motive was for doing these rapes and crimes.
Well, you know, in most every time that you have like a sexual criminal out there that does these kind of things, it's normally something that happens in or through or during like puberty. Now, it could be a girl, but man, he would have had to really have hated that girl to like want to go out and brutally. You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
And after the fact. Whereas on the flip side, while it could be that, you know, and I mean, like, I'm not here to like, you know, make decisions on this guy's life because I don't know.
Right.
But on the flip side, I mean, it's kind of a learned behavior. It's something that you would see come out of a kid that was raped. You know, a kid that had some amount of power over him to where he wanted to express the same, you know, after puberty upon a person that he found sexually attractive or powerless. Somebody that he could express power over, humiliate, like a sexual sadist. And that is kind of what I'm looking at when I look at his crimes, you know, like very, you know, power. Like, hey, you're going to do what I say. Guess what?
Right.
And control.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's the reason for old women and young women, because he had that power. If you got a handgun, that's some automatic power. If they're unarmed, bam, do as I say.
Right. They were vulnerable, the most vulnerable.
I don't know which one of you said it. No, it was Incognito in one of her answers. She said, for gas station shootings, I think. Something along those lines. Do you think it's possible that he's done some of these unsolved shootings along I-70?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was finished.
No, I know. I'm used to when people ask a question, I'm just like, no, I don't think, you know, but go ahead. That's to you, Incognito.
Actually, I mentioned that to Michael last time I talked to him, that, you know, if he might have started doing those things to see if he could get away with it, and then he escalated his crimes. But if you look to the Tennessee case, and if he's related to that, then I don't think he would have just stopped and started shooting random people in a gas station. So, and I think Michael's looked in more on the I-70 killer than I ever have. So,
yeah, when I looked into that, because I had a guy ask me, and this is going back like right at the beginning of TB, you know, when I was bringing it up, that, yeah, now I do believe that he is responsible for the Delphi murders. Well, he says, well, if it's TB and he was traveling like that, then, you know, could he not be the I-70 killer? And I'm like, you know what, dude, I don't know. So I went and I spent like probably a better course of a day looking over the I-70 killer. Now, the I-70 killer would wait and he would stay outside when it was like a lone woman that was like working at a convenience store alongside I-70. He'd wait till nobody was there. He'd go in, pistol in here, man. He'd be like, hey, man, could I get a pack of Marlboro over there, you know? And when she'd turn around, bang, pop her right in the back of the head with 22 and split. That's what he did in every case. All he did was shoot the lady in the back of the head. One was a man that he thought was a woman. That's what law enforcement said. But he was a thrill killer. That was it. Go in, shoot him, kill him, and leave. There wasn't a sexual killer. Now, TB, he's a sexually motivated killer. And that's the difference. That's why I don't believe that he's the I-70 killer at all. You know what? And I said this when I made that video. Because when I was looking up the I-70 killer, I seen John Kelly profiler talking about the I-70 killer. Now, he wasn't talking about Delphi. This is like long before Delphi. But he basically just had the same words that I did. This guy's the thrill killer. That's what he gets off on, going in, killing, and leaving. You know, that's why he used the 22 to be quiet, wouldn't draw attention, could get out of there. That was the whole of his crimes. But they weren't sexually motivated. You see where I'm at? They weren't brutal, but they went on for a long time. So, I mean, I don't believe that he's one of the same.
Okay, well, I kind of agree, although I've seen it brought up a few times, but I agree with both of you. I just don't remember another series of murders that were brutal and that stayed brutal.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they exist, but I just don't recall it.
Well, Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Ted Bundy was brutal, and I mean, like, very brutal. And I think most every woman that he met, I mean, like, you know, literally the one that got away, that lived, that he thought was dead. I mean, even her, man, he beat the hell out of her. You know, he'd normally stab and do all kinds of stuff, man, choke him out till they was almost dead. He was a real sadist, man. So, I mean, that's one I can point to. And aside of that, the Night Stalker, man, you talk about brutal. You know, that guy was an evil man. And they're serial killers, and that's what gets their want to do, to be that brutal man, you know, to have that power.
On the trail, Kim said that my voice changed.
Guys has got dead eyes.
Yeah.
Every single one. There's no light in those eyes. None. But it's
yeah, he's dead inside.
It's amazing to me that this case isn't solved, prosecuted, and somebody's sitting on death row right now. I'm just amazed.
Yeah,
he wasn't caught before the Catholic supply store.
Yeah, I wish he had been.
But he wasn't on the books then. He didn't have any.
He is now, and the sad part is there's about 200 more across the country that need to be on the books.
Hey, you guys, you've looked into him more in California. Was he there in the state when the Golden State Killer was doing his thing?
I think that was after Golden State.
Gotcha. Okay. On the trail, Kim said that my voice changed. I messed with my mic, and I also took a drink of water. So you're right. It totally did.
Uh-oh. Then you've heard a lot more on this phone line than I thought you could.
Oh, that's my voice. Somebody said my voice changed. Oh, no. It was me. Somebody said something.
Yeah, I've seen that. I thought she was talking about Miss Cavalier, too, though.
Oh.
You know, I didn't know which way to answer that. I wasn't going to.
Miss Cavalier is multitasking tonight. So it's amazing what you can do if you can use hand signals.
Yes.
I have forgotten a lot of my sign language. I can't tell a store clerk I love you because I remember it. So, no, I think, you know, for whatever reason, they're just going to play this very close to the vest until the end. But I would, do you think they'll release any more of anything before the 3rd anniversary?
Maybe. Like I said, I think that the 3rd anniversary is going to go down as it always has. One, same as they've always said, you know, hey, we're there, man. We're closing in, because they do. They're going to make it want to sound like we're not far behind you now, and you know that. But the simple fact is, they know who did it. Okay. Now it could be like that, where that they just repeat what they had the last 2 years, or they could come out and say, well, we do have a person of interest, but we can't talk to him at this time. So we really can't, like, you know, answer any questions until we can. But there is a person that, you know, is arrested, and, you know, there might be more to come on that this year. But leave it at that. But because, look, as soon as you open that up to the media, that, yeah, we got a person of interest that may be responsible, the media would be up their ball sack immediately. They would not stop asking. They would not stop getting calls. And that's what they're staying away from. That was the whole reason for the briefing, to end that, you know, to make it appear over here when we know better, until we can go talk to him and arrest him and get him back to Indiana. Until that time, it's going to remain the same, or they may come out with that just because they don't want me to seem like I'm right all the time. You know, they don't want to be, you know, maybe they'll feel sorry for my ass one time.
I actually, for once, probably disagree with you. I don't think they're going to have a presser.
You don't?
It's just my feeling. I'm sure I'm wrong, but after that 2nd year presser, it seems like they got a lot of flack, so they came out with the 422 presser.
Yeah.
Oh, and release the video, and release the new sketch, and release this. And Robert Ives was back. I don't think they're going to say crap this year.
Well, if they don't have a presser, then what's Delphi going to think?
Exactly.
Yeah, then they're going to be like, it's cold, isn't it? It's cold, isn't it? Right? The case is cold now, right? And again, I don't think that they want that. I think that they want people to believe that, look, hey, man, we're out there. We're working this case, man. We are. And we're not that far behind him. You know, we will get him in due time. It's just a matter of time. They might even bring in the big boys again, for all I know. I thought last year with the prosecutor, I thought that was pretty lame. And didn't let me in. I thought that was more than lame. I thought, you know, I ain't even going into that shit again.
Yeah. I mean, they've had it at a church. They've had it at the courthouse. No.
Well, they had it at the trail first year.
Trail at the first year. Okay. So I'm thinking back to
the courthouse.
Gotcha. So the church thing was in initial presser when they brought out everybody. Okay. Then the trail, then the courthouse, then they did the big reveal. So what other tricks they got up their sleeve?
No, if they was going to do it, they'd do it at the courthouse. They ain't going to have me there.
Or anybody, for sure.
No, they will not have me there. They already know my questions, and they are not going to have it.
Right.
So, right, buddy? He watches my channel, man.
And there's
up with some new questions.
What's
Come
that?
up with some new questions, or ask them in an underhanded, coded manner.
Well, that is how I ask. Make no mistake, that is how I ask. I ask in such a way as that they'll be like, well, I can't comment on that. You know, because they know that if they was to make any kind of comment on the question that I asked, they would be telling me what I wanted to know. They're not going to comment on that. It's just like when I asked Kim Riley, well, do you know anything on TV? Now, he started to say, you know what? Help me out here. And I'm going to play this again, and I want you guys to hear how he answers this, okay? Let me pull it up.
Yes, he was arrested in St. Louis. He looks like the Delphi suspect. Was dressed accordingly.
Okay, what do you need to know?
Okay, his DNA was taken down there. Did they compare that to the Delphi DNA?
I really cannot comment on that.
Is CC Moore working the case?
We have approximately 1,500 people we're looking into, and he's one of the 1,500. That's best I can answer on that part.
Okay. So then you don't know anything about Thomas Bruce then, sir? Nothing?
I know some, but
I know some is what he said. I know some, but I can't answer your question. Now, that tells me that he knows like something, but in not being able to answer my question, that tells me that there is a factor there, you see, of be it guilt, whatever. He knows something. Does everybody see where I'm at?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted. You know? Because yes, he does know something on him. And the thing is like, okay, he knew something on him. Sheriff Lesenby knows the same on him. So does the FBI. So does St. Louis. I mean, they all know the same. They know what I know plus more, but they're not going to tell us that. It don't make a shit how you ask.
Riley's nervous when you ask him questions from
Man,
based on the
Riley's
first
all the
year.
time nervous, man. When I ask him anything, man, he's a little jumpy. He is.
Well, it's because of the first year presser.
Hang on, man. Wait, what? Hold on. You know, yeah. And then he starts giving some answers away, and I don't mind talking to him. And that's why I made that video private. Because, man, I didn't want that out there where I was like making fun of him, because I'm really not. I understand, man, he's got a job. I understand he's doing his job, and he's got to do his job. And I'm sure he took a little bit of hell for saying that at the first year press conference. I'm sure that wasn't easy on him.
No.
So, like, why in the hell did you tell that fucker that? Man, are you ignorant?
No wonder he played so coy with you now.
Did what?
I said, no wonder he played so coy when you asked him about Thomas Bruce.
Yeah, well.
Who? What?
Had the old Monty Python theme on.
Exactly.
Okay, well, with that, I'm going to bow out gracefully. I have 3 little dogs that have their legs crossed that need a walk.
I hear you.
Aw.
Well, give them my best, and I thank you very much for calling, Miss Cavalier.
It is always lovely. I absolutely adore Miss Cognito.
She's good.
Aw. Thank you.
Yes, she is. And I'm sorry that I called if I infringed on your show at all.
Mine?
But it's
No.
always,
No.
yeah,
We
it's
no we
always a joy.
we wanted callers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
I
ever
know.
feel like that.
But it's always a joy to get 2 informed, intelligent people
3,
to share their opinions.
3, if I may.
Right.
Definitely.
Yes. And I agree with that. But it's always a joy and a challenge to bring.
And you do the same, Miss Cavalier. We get stuff from you too. So thank you for calling.
Okay. Well, you two be safe and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that was Miss Cavalier, and that was a very good phone call. I always enjoy, when she calls, and she's a part of the show. She can look up some stuff, and she's very good at it. Very, very good.
She's awesome.
And it's like she was saying about California. That is the same thing I ran into when I was looking for crimes, like right there in that general area. Nothing specific would pull up, man. They would say, this person became missing this day or was abducted at this time, law enforcement, but there was nothing like a newspaper article like Ann Pryor or Ann Pates, where it went into like the details, because on those, I can pull up the legal documents that actually showed how they died. Now, we don't have that in Delphi, thankfully, and I don't care to know. I'm not into that curiousness. What I want is the man arrested. I want him known to be, this is the guy that did it.
Right.
That's what I'm after. 4 years, people. That ain't easy. That ain't easy at all.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything on newspapers.com. Is it? Yeah, I couldn't find nothing that would even match anything near him.
It's on you, Mr. Ants. Because nobody likes to hear from double ants like me and Incognito do.
That's right.
He's a main caller.
He's like
he's that guy that calls every week, and people like his voice because he's from Texas.
He looks like he had to do a fix-a-flat. Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Something going on. Air compressor and a fix-a-flat. Uh-oh.
Well, crap, man. He was on his way to get cigarettes. It might be another hour. This might be very time consuming. Okay, if anybody else wants to call in, give me the old ring, man. We'll talk, man. We'll talk. We'll discuss some stuff right here. You know what? We're gonna call this a podcast. Just to be
Ooh.
a dick.
Yes, awesome.
Podcast, bitch.
I've been wanting to start a podcast on Denise Flum, but I haven't thought about how to do that yet.
You know what? That is the case, man. And I was explaining this, and I forget to who. And if they're watching, no. Oh, you know what? I do know who it was. I don't want to give the name though. They don't want their name out.
Okay.
But you know, they was talking about like psychic experience that they have.
Mhm.
And they would say like, well, if I'm looking at a case, then something will suddenly come to me. Well, and I told him, I said, it's the same thing that like happens to me. I don't call it psychic, of course, but it's like intuition.
Intuitive. Yep.
And what it comes down like is exactly like Denise Flum. Okay, when I was looking at that, man, I studied that, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the times, and I'm thinking like, okay, the only way to make it to here, to there at that time would be to take this route or this route, one or the other.
Mhm.
Both went to the same thing. Both ended up at the same intersection at the exact same time. Now, after looking through all of that, I'm laying in bed, okay? And it hits me. Wait a minute. Is that intersection a four-way stop? You see where I'm at?
Yep.
Like, is that intersection a four-way stop? And I'm like, okay, wait. I ain't going to wait till morning where I totally forgot about it. So I drug my ass out of the sack, got in there, man, went down there, man, got the street view, and I'm like, hell yeah, it's a four-way stop. And I started searching the whole path. It was the only stop she had to make.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's the back of my mind working. You see where I'm at? Same with anybody else. Even if you're not thinking about the case, the back of your head, it's still thinking about the case. And it draws those things forward. Now, I don't call it like psychic because it ain't like it just magically occurred. It came forward in my head because the back of my head was thinking about it, and there it was. And that was the reality. And then I'm like, haha, you know, and then that led me right back into it again, you know, like right back into how that played out. And it was like 2 days, maybe 3. And I was where I made that video, but it took me forever to make that video.
You did a great job. I know you don't think so, but you
know
did.
What? I made it private.
Just didn't want to, because you weren't upset with it or yourself, or?
You know what? I mean, I could have made the video better. And again, it was one of those things of like, well, look, man, I got the information. Let me just make the video and be done with it. But at the same time, I think that I could have did it in a way better way that would have reached more people and really put a lot more emphasis on the case.
I understand.
Hello. Hey. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. All right, go ahead.
Hello, folks.
Hello. How are you?
I thought you were offline. Apologies.
You asked if I was still on. Yeah. Okay. Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Told me.
Do what?
A guy that subscribes to your channel
Yeah.
called me.
Yeah.
Sitting here giving me a third degree.
Yeah.
The hell, he put me as a suspect.
What?
Well, dude,
He sat there like, he goes, hold on. Let me go, because I was talking about, you know, the prayers. I was talking about that. I said, call me about it. If anybody wants to investigate it, go ahead about it. He calls me. I was probably spent, you know, with half hour to talk to him.
Yeah.
And he keeps trying to trap me in little questions and shit.
Oh, hang on 1 second, if you don't mind. Incognito, do you know the person that he's talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Carry on.
So he's mentioning cops' names and stuff.
Yeah.
Ones that I know.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to wrap my mind around what the hell he was talking about.
You just gotta ignore him. Really. He wants to get you riled
But
up.
no, he had facts. He goes, okay, so you know Drew Yoder, right? I'm like, yeah, I do. He goes, he started making false accusations, which I know Drew Yoder very well. He is a sheriff in this county. And he was one of the good cops.
Yeah.
He started saying that he came out and playing like drugs on this girl while she walked in the jail or was outside the jail. I don't know. Anyway, I was just trying to hit you up. I thought the show was done. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. I'll be down after a bit.
But no, that dude's cut that guy off. He's something wrong.
Nah, man, it's all good. It's all cool, man.
Well, peace, folks.
Talk to you later.
See ya.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, look, man, when you give people your phone number and you have them call you to talk about a case, man, you know, you're rolling the dice a little bit. I know who the guy is, and we've had our outings.
Yeah.
I'll put it lightly. We've been there. I don't know if he's the one that called law enforcement on me, but if he did, man, well done. I mean, it allowed me to know right there that yes, they had DNA. Because I looked right at him and I'm like, haha. So you guys got DNA, don't you? Yeah. Hang on, man. I gotta go make a video. I'll talk to you later, sir. And came right in and going, yes, they got DNA. Because that's when it came out to me, man. When he said, well, we can't clear you without a DNA sample. I'm like, yes. Yes. Thank you, sir. May I shake your hand? Give me a big, fat, like, blue boy hug or some shit.
You should start keeping a tally of all the things you get him on. Yes, DNA, check.
Check.
He's not been ever been arrested before. Check.
He don't have blue eyes. Check.
Check.
I kind of know he's framing how he walks, but it looks a whole lot like TB to me. Call it a hunch, or as I think it was put, speculation and conjecture. You know, on YouTube. So yeah, it's not TB, man. It ain't him. Told you. Bullshit. Yeah,
Well,
you know what? This year is going to be slow going by, but at the end, man, I don't want no fucking apologies. In fact, man, I got screenshots of every troll ever that's going in to one video, and it's going to have some cool music behind it. Something really cool, man. I'm talking about Beatles cool.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, well, no, I'm kidding. I wouldn't really use the Beatles in that manner. I love the Beatles. In fact, I'm going to have Abbey Road put on my back. That's how I play.
Nice.
No, you know what? I wouldn't really do that. I like my back, but I wouldn't want to cover it like that. No. I'll think of another place.
Oh, and not to mention that they know some information on TB. So
you know what? The whole of this goes like so. Indiana didn't go down there and talk to those people. It was all the FBI. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now the FBI, because the FBI has all these other cases linked back to DNA and fingerprints. Mary Pryor and Ann Pates, fingerprints and DNA, but no suspect. You see where I'm at? Because this person had never been caught committing a crime. Very much like Delphi. Exactly like Delphi. So what's the separation? There isn't any. All of them were brutal up there. Same with Susan Collins. All of them were brutal. I cannot say anything on Evansdale because the bodies were found very late. They didn't give a cause of death. But, you know, we can speculate that it was one of the same. Same probably with Delphi. And I don't mean that to be graphic by any means, but the simple fact is that is how the man operates.
Right. Sad, really. You know, when you were talking about the psychic thing earlier with Denise Flum.
Yep.
Not on the same thing, but I thought if we are to believe the person that said they saw the deer through their camera,
Yeah.
and it led them to the girls, I thought about how neat that was. I know for the brutal case it is, there's hardly any good in this case, but I thought, you know, that's a sign of God in being there, and it's almost as if, you know, God in the moment showed them where the bodies were to be found. And I know that some people question God and, you know, why would this happen to two girls? And I get it. I'm not here to preach.
I know I don't have anything on God. I mean, I fully believe in a grand creator. I mean, there it is. I mean, I'm no atheist.
Right. So it's just neat. And
But does anybody hear that music?
I don't.
Oh, too bad. Yeah, I got two guys that moved in behind me, man, from Chicago.
They're jamming
All night long, all day long.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's about time to move.
Oh crap. Yeah, I wouldn't like that at all.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
Oh, I can. It's going boom, 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 boom. Well, like, yeah, it sounds like Chicago, buddy.
On the trail, Kim, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, like a spirit animal in a way. But I don't know if I want to get too hippy-dippy on that, but, you know, that's kind of what I was thinking.
No, I mean, yeah, and I get you. You know, now, I think earlier you said something about Weaver.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if I have the name right, but that was the name that was mentioned. John?
I thought it was Erskine.
I don't think I heard that name mentioned.
That's the one that I had always heard. He said, yeah, I was one of the ones that found him, and he gave, like, details, you know, into the deaths. I mean, as to how the one looked, I should say. And I drew that as more, it could be, it may be, it could be he was just seeking attention at the time. It's hard to say, but I never put that out there as anything because whatever happened at that crime scene does not relate to what it is I'm looking for. Now, I mean, if somebody was to say something about it exactly where I could say, okay, then that relates, but I'm not looking for that information because there isn't anybody out there that's got that information that could give it to me. And aside to that, if I had that information, I would never relay it publicly. You see where I'm at? Mm-hmm. It would never leave my lips to the public because that is investigation right there. And that is what they don't want people to know. And I would not be having people know.
Yeah. They're not going to release anything about the crime scene, about whether the suspect's in custody or not. They're going to lie. They've already lied. I mean, I'm trying to get back to the basics, even though, like I said, I was rattled this week. They're going to lie. They're not going to say one way or another.
Thus is law enforcement. Well, let me see. Is Double Ants around? If Double Ants is going to call, we can keep it going that long. And Double Ants, where are you, man? Let me see. When was the last time he said, oh, he's way back there. 46 air compressor. Man, geez. You know what? I don't even know if he's going to be done. Yeah. I have no idea. Well, there's the number, people. Right there. If you want to call, last call. Last call for alcohol. Get her done. It's here for somebody. I don't give a shit what it's about. You know what Icon said?
What's that?
Man, I totally spaced that out because I was going to do that tonight. He said his old lady, man, when him and I were talking on here, right? She had seen my face. She's like, man, is that guy from Duck Dynasty you was talking to? Talking about Psy. And I got that Psy t-shirt, man, where it says, I've always been a ladies' man. I was going to wear that tonight. I'm like, man, you know all us white guys look alike, dude.
You know, I never even thought about that, but you do. Kind of a little bit of Uncle Psy going on.
Nah, yeah, not in the face up here, though. But, I mean, with the hair and the beard, yeah. I see that a little bit. Yeah. But, yeah, no, not Psy. Man, if I was Psy, man, I'd be making duck calls right now.
Right.
I wouldn't be investigating much.
I miss Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, you know what? I liked Side, but the rest of them, I mean, it was too reality show. I had a friend down there, man. He had like all seasons of it. So me and another friend, we were sitting there watching it. But I mean, it was very much reality show where everything was taken at multiple angles, and then you get that, you know, that's what they do, and the show goes on, and it's supposed to look like it's really, really, really happening. And I'm like, no, it's really, really scripted.
Exactly.
You know, but it was a fun show. I mean, they really did, you know, it was fun to watch.
Right. They created scenarios for them to go into, and you could tell they were trying to act like it was real, but
Yeah, exactly.
became unreal.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I guess that's going to do it then. Incognito, and I seriously, you know, I send you my appreciation for being on the show tonight, because without a special guest, I would have just had to sit here and talk, man, just talk and talk and talk.
Well, we enjoy listening to you talk, by the way.
Yeah, but it gets old repeating, and it did a year ago. You know, I mean, after so long, then I'm just repeating myself. The questions, it's just a repeat of the last 10 shows. And that I don't want. But the thing is it's going to be a long time till we get anything new on the Delphi case. And I must continue, because the last time I said, this is my last live, everybody about shit themselves. So
seriously, you can't do that to us.
Yeah. And then I'm all like, all right, fine. I'll keep doing it live every week. I'll just sit here. I'll just repeat myself, you know, but hey, man, at least now I got Greeno on the opposite side. So he keeps it alive. I hope he maintains doing that, man. It gives me shit to talk about. It really does. I told him that in the email I sent him the other day. Say, keep doing what you're doing, man. I said, because it just sends people right to my channel. Aside of his cohorts, man, when they show up, I just dismiss them. It's like, you know what, man? If you can't show up to say it on your own, don't send cohorts, man. That just looks cowardly.
Right. And, you know, after people get rattled, I can speak for myself, it's good to come and talk it out with you. So I appreciate you letting me be on the show tonight. Appreciate everybody's comments. Good talking to Miss Cavalier, of course. So I'm going to bow out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. And I will talk to you soon, man.
All right. Thank you later. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. I thank everybody for being here, you know, and I will catch you probably next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's when I, you know, have my live show. AB Alaska Blue didn't show up. I don't understand what was up. She said she would be here. I sent her a thing and I says, call me. And she never did call me, but she didn't show up. I hope that I did not offend her. That was not what I intended. But anyway, all mods, everybody here, everybody that viewed the show, I thank you for being here, and I will catch you next week. Peace, everyone.